I'm gonna check the YouTube stream, see it's streaming. Oh yeah, we're streaming, baby. Okay. Oh, want to double check. All right, so right now we're looking at, the latest updates on Israel's attack on Iran. I'm keeping up on it with the Associated Press. They just been keeping me updated. So I kind of want to look at the latest thing. Jordan closes its airspace after Israeli strikes on Iran. Jordan has closed its airspace following Israel's strikes on Iran early Friday. Iran, Israel, and Iraq have also closed their airspace. Jordan's Civil Aviation Authority says the airspace will be closed for all flights over the country. Okay, yeah, so looks like this is escalating big. This is what I wanted to see. I just saw this before stream started. 100 drones launched at Israel, military says. Now, mind you, this would happen what, maybe 11 o'clock, 11:30, maybe 12 noon, midnight, I mean. I'm sitting here watching a movie with my girlfriend, and then I go to the bathroom, check my phone, and then all this is just popping off. So I'm like, whoa, I was working on a video about the LA riots for a couple days now, and this just happens. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to live stream and just read some stuff off and give some insight if I can. Just in Israel says the military's lost. Oh, okay, 100. Let me go back to the bottom here. Yeah, Iranian chief of staff was killed in the Israeli strike. Now, mind you, if they're killing the chief of staff, and I heard in an earlier report, we're probably going to see if I scroll down more, that they killed all of the top military chiefs, in this strike, in these strikes. So these are coordinated strikes used with intelligence. Like, this is not just, okay, let's just place some bombs someplace. This is, we have some intelligence, let's use it. We've been sitting on some intelligence, let's use it. Right now, I'm not saying that this is American intelligence, that America handed the intelligence to them and said, okay, we're going to turn around but I'm just saying that, you know, Israel doesn't do much. Well, I can't even say that Israel doesn't do much without America's, like, no, because, I mean, you know what? This is it's so good because we can get into it. Earlier Thursday, Donald Trump was in an interview and he was saying things like, you know what, if Iran doesn't, here we go, right here. This is from April. Let me just go through this. He said Wednesday, mind you, this is April. It would be the leader of a potential military strike against Iran if Tehran doesn't give up its nuclear weapons program. If it requires military, we're going to have military, Trump said. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that. They'll be the leader of that, but no one leads us. But we do what we want. I'm sorry. So- so- Let me read that again. But no one leads us, but we do what we want to do. Like, we'll do what we want to do. No one leads us, but they'll be the leaders of it. So Donald Trump, in his double speak there, will say and speak out of both sides of his mouth, just to not look like he's weak, because he wants to come off as very strong. So yeah, sure, we'll give it to him. So mind you, this is back in April that he's been saying, "Hey, it may go military." This is not anything new. I'm sorry, I have so many tabs here open, so you have to bear with me. No, Saudi Arabia Friday. No, that's back to the AP. Donald Trump. Okay, there we go. Donald Trump warned Thursday. This is, you know, hold on. Let's just double check this. It's NPR. Yeah, June 25th, 2025. Okay, so he warned Thursday that a massive conflict could break out in the Middle East over the issue of Iran's nuclear programs, but said he wants a diplomatic resolution. This is after the United Nations nuclear watchdog found that Tehran had failed to comply with its non proliferation obligations for the first time in 2 decades. You know, most recently, to my knowledge, just doing a little bit of research before I started stream, Donald Trump, excuse me, Barack Obama in 2015 had these sanctions, or there were sanctions placed on Iran, and through a deal with Barack Obama, a lot of these sanctions were able to be lifted. But there were a lot of things at a cost to Iran. Like, they had to cut back on their enrichment of uranium, high grade, mid grade, low grade, basically back to nil. Basically less than 3%. which would not be, feasible for their economy. They're trying to, stabilize and run an entire economy, and we had that deal so that basically it would be very, very hard to do so. And to even accept the deal is very it's very damaging to the identity of the people there. They're very proud people, as I'm sure we all are. If you were, a sovereign, if you were a different country, you're in a different country, and you just hear on the news like, oh yeah, we have another country over there telling us that we can't have certain things to make our lives easier. Like power plants, nuclear plants, we have them here in America. Like every major country has them, including Israel, including all of Europe. And they use it to help their economy. Now, if you want me to go into specifics now at 1:22 in the morning, I won't do that. I can't do that. But I will tell you that the main fear coming from Israel is that they're also enriching nuclear weapons there that could be aimed at Israel. And I'm sorry, I love saying Israel like that. It's just, yeah, I'm low key religious. I have like a religious background to me, so Israel. So they're saying that basically we don't want these guys to have nukes. It makes us very uneasy. If we want to have stabilization in this corner in this region of the world, they can't have nukes because you know uh, not a lot of people know, or I guess, people are unbeknownst to this fact that Iran in 1984 was deemed like a sponsor of terrorism. Like they outright sponsor terrorism. This is by the United States government. They put out this, they basically said, yeah, these guys are sponsors of terrorism, all over the region, all over the place, and we can see this today with the Houthis that attack the Red Sea all over the place, Hezbollah, Hamas. Although to be fair, Hamas was not only funded by Iran, they're also funded by Israel themselves and the United States of America. Those are just the facts. Now, if you want me to bring up those facts right now, I will not. I cannot. At a later date, I can make a video about this. But for now, just just hang with me. Now, let me go back to like that whole this whole reasoning why they launched these attacks. Right, they're preemptive attacks. Iran hasn't done anything, mind you. They did do the whole big thumb, like, fuck you, basically. Excuse me for even swearing on this, but for lack of better terms, it's 1:24 in the morning. They said, you know what, we're not gonna comply with these dealings. We're basically, and honestly, if you look at it, Iran, knowing the position that they're in, for the months and months of talking, Donald Trump flying all over the Middle East and accepting these big gifts and all this, for them to say that, hey, we're not gonna go through with this, we're not gonna comply with your qualifications, with your testing and all the rest. That's like saying, yeah, yeah, we're ready to, whatever comes next, we're willing to accept that. And boom, what comes next? Israel drops a bomb, literally, and this bomb has been talked about for weeks and for months. Since these talks about nuclear arms have been going on, Israel said, hey, if the United States will not take action, like, and mind you, this is like, I'll give them the BOTD, benefit of the doubt. Shout out Stu Pickles. I'll give him the BOTD. If he says that these damn, what the hell was I still saying? I hate when I do that. I hate when I try to throw in a little reference there, and that reference is totally, throws me off. But anyway, we're gonna get back to this begin doctrine. The begin doctrine, maybe I'll find my way back there, right? The begin doctrine is basically a preemptive strike. Israel believes that, hey, if a guy, if we know a guy is prepping to destroy us, we destroy them now. And this is down to the Talmud, or the Torah, whichever book that this practice or saying may come from. But this has come down to their holy books, and then later put into their politics. It says basically, hey, this is a preemptive strike, counter proliferation policy regarding their potential enemies' capability to possess weapons of mass destructions, particularly nuclear weapons. Now, this is just like, who else is this about? Who else is this about? This is about just a few certain people, like certain people that they want, like that they want. We've all seen it. Benjamin Netanyahu's been in front of Congress since the 90s talking about how we need to destabilize Iran. We need to make sure Iran doesn't have nukes, and this will have great reverberations throughout the country, or throughout the Middle East, or whoever he was talking about, Saddam Hussein, whichever Middle East person that he was talking about, because that's really what it is. Benjamin Netanyahu is just always coming from the Congress telling us how we need to get rid of someone, and then we eventually do. That's the funny part about it. We eventually do. But basically, this has been a thing since, as we can see, this guy's talking about it. The guy who is named after. So this is when it began, 1982. So they've been on this since 1982. Let's read a little bit. The roots of this doctrine can be tracked back to at least Operations Damocles at the beginning of the 1960s. I've heard of Damocles. I've actually heard that from watching some videos here. Secret and diplomatic operations against the Iraqi nuclear program were started by Yitzhak Rabin government in the 1970s. Okay. Okay, cool. Fine. But that just leads to the greater point that Israel does see that it can defend itself preemptively and they will take strike. All these talks with Iran and them not signing a deal, it was just like, you know what? Like a few days ago, what was it? Wednesday, they basically told the government, "Hey, we're ready to go. Like whenever you guys are ready to go, if you're ready to go, we're ready to go." Then you have Thursday, Iran does what they do, and then boom, they're like, "You know what? We're just gonna go and do this." We have two new updates from AP. Check that out. IAEA. I think that's the International Atomic Economics Association or something like this. Let's just. Mhm. Yeah, the International Atomic Energy Agency. I just thought about it. You may seem like some of my recents here when I click new tab, but whatever. It is what it is. But someone's going to give me flack about that. One of my friends, someone. Okay, so let's go back here. This is not where we was. Where were we? See, we're moving all over the place here, right? Okay, but that's fine. So the IEI, no, okay, yeah, this is where we're. Says Iran's Bushehr nuclear plant not targeted. Okay, so the International Atomic Energy Agency confirmed Iran's Bushehr nuclear plant on the Persian Gulf Coast has not been targeted, and that no increase in radiation levels have been observed at the not Natanz site. Wow, I haven't even thought about that. All these nuclear plants getting strike, like hit, right? That's gonna raise the nuclear levels, right? Like that's definitely gonna do that. You know what? Let's do this here. See, look, I was literally looking up the LA Ride videos prior to this, but then all this happened. I'm like, you know what? I want to make a video so bad, but I'm just gonna go live. Um, da, 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 da. What were we looking up? Jesus, like it's so much happening. Okay, yeah, so we're basically looking up how will the sorry, I'm all caps nuclear strikes affect Iran. I'm so sorry. So late. Israel, experts react. Israel just attacked Iran's military and nuclear sites. What's next? If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear war in a very short time. Yeah, see, I was reading a quote before where it says Israel said that basically in the past few weeks they have known of several advancements that Iran has made towards a nuclear bomb, and that as the days goes on, their visibility of those advancements dissipates. So like, yo, we don't know like as time has been going on day by day, we've been seeing that they've been making great advancements. Like we can see the advancements. But as the days goes on, like day by day now, we don't know how advanced they're getting. So we just have to go in fair. Okay, if that's what you say. Israel says some 200 fighter jets involved in strikes. Okay, so they're bringing out the guns here, the big guns if not already. Israeli military spokesman Brig Gen Ifi Defrin said that some 200 Israeli fighter jets participated in the operation, striking some 100 targets. And I know something about Israeli fighter jets. I know they have the F-35I, which is like something that let's see, the F-35I, right? Is the Israeli procurement. It's basically the F-35 that we have, but modified for Israel. Like it's slightly modified for Israel. Just you know, and we do that because we can't let everyone have our planes. We can't let Israel, even our greatest ally, Israel, we cannot let them have our planes simply because if this plane were to go down over there in Tehran or wherever the fuck, excuse me, or wherever, we don't want these guys to reverse engineer the plane, thus getting on our level, of course, United States air like superiority is always evolving. Like at this point, they're not even building planes to have like stand the test of time anymore. They're having planes that are going to be easily cycled out, phased out for the next plane. Like this is going to have it so like whatever systems they're using, it's probably some AI, just pushing them forward constantly, constantly, constantly. So basically America gave them this plane and said, you know what, you have to take this plane. This plane is good for you. But there was some word that the Israeli government kind of like tried to steal the files about of the original F-35 so they can make their own and have their own there. But that's like unsubstantiated. There we go. That's unsubstantiated. So we're just gonna move past that, right? I forgot what I even came here to look up, but we're just gonna keep that tab alive. We're gonna go back and we're gonna scroll a little bit, right? Jordan closes airspace. Okay, so we saw this. Let's scroll down a little further. Saudi Arabia condemns Israeli strikes on Iran. Saudi Arabia on Friday reprimanded Israel for its strikes on Iran, despite long-running tensions between the kingdom and the Islamic Republic. And see, so Iran and Saudi Arabia haven't been pals, all the way through history. They've had their conflict, their fair share, but even they're coming out, they're saying, "Whoa, dude, this was too far, man. This was just too far." And let's continue reading. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia expresses a strong condemnation and denunciation of the blatant Israeli aggressions against the brotherly Islamic Republic of Iran, which undermine its sovereignty and security and constitute a clear violation of international laws and norms, the country's foreign minister said in a statement. Wow. Wow, Saudi Arabia to come to the rescue this here say, hey, this isn't good. They close off their airspace similar to everyone else, Jordan, Syria, which is understandable. Of course they're gonna do this. Um, no, you're good, dude. You're straight. I got voice isolation. Okay, Netanyahu. This is 26 minutes ago. Suggests more attacks are coming. That's spooky things. All right, sorry about that. Netanyahu suggests more attacks are coming. Let's see. Netanyahu later issued a statement suggesting that more attacks will be coming. We are going to have many more achievements. Wait, hold on. I love that. Hold on. He later issued a statement. So this is 26 minutes ago. I don't know. This is when it was posted. Let's see. He later issued a statement suggesting more attacks would be coming, saying we're going to have many more achievements. Okay, so he's not saying attacks on us. We're saying we're going to attack them like more. Like yeah, we're gonna. So these are achievements. They're saying that these are not. You see how we were talking earlier about the begin? It's all about preemptive strike. We're kind of potential enemies and all this to keep themselves safe. It's all about keeping themselves safe. Excuse me. But here you kind of infer there that Netanyahu's talking about like, hey, yeah, we have many more achievements to go here. Like we're about to achieve greatness here. So I don't love the sound of that, but you know, it is what it is. Let's go check on Axios. Let's see what Axios has posted as of late. Like Axios a lot. I like Al Jazeera a lot too, although for things that are happening, yeah, I haven't even checked on Al Jazeera. Holy crap, reject all those cookies. I'm sorry, let me just yeah, we're good. Okay. Israeli launches major strike on Iran's nuclear military. That's the major. Israel says it has killed Iran's top three military commanders. Yeah, this is why we like Al Jazeera. For anything that's happening over there in the Middle East, you definitely want to check on Al Jazeera. Axios for domestic and Al Jazeera for the Middle East. And Al Jazeera also does like good reporting all over the place. But for the Middle East, you definitely want to check Al Jazeera. There's probably a good other places, but I don't know them. Okay, Israeli military says it launched a wave of strikes against Iranian military and nuclear sites in a major escalation against Tehran. Tehran being the capital. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has warned Israel that it must expect severe punishment following the crime of attacking Iran and killing several commanders and scientists. Killing scientists, that's huge. That's huge, right? Let's go next. I don't know what they're gonna show on my timeline, so let's just hurry up and get past that. Iranian military. Let's go down here, right? This is I'm sorry, this how I just dove into Iran's Twitter, but because we're looking at this here. We're talking about their leaders being killed, and coming out saying like, "Yo, severe punishment." So I just want to go see what they're saying because I did read a tweet earlier. The delusion fantasist claimed that Iran has become weak. The future will show who has truly weakened. Saddam also thought Iran was weak and launched his attack. Reagan, too, under the illusion of Iran's weakness, provided extensive support to Saddam's regime. They, along with dozens of other delusional individuals, ended up in the dustbin of history, while the Islamic force has continued to grow day by day. I assure you, this experience will repeat itself once again by God's grace. Wait, that's from January 20. Come on, man. I mean, okay, fair, fair. 14 minutes ago. Excuse me, Jets in the airstrikes like that. See you very soon. Ooh, see you very soon. Yeah, they got their jets. Yeah, so that's been a concern. You know how Israel said they have some 200 jets in the air. We can see why. You can see why Iran has. Iran's not some sort of like shithole country. If you're thinking that it's just some like backwater Middle Eastern country, no, that Iran's the actual. They're technologically advanced. They have good medicine. They have great science, the arts. They have these things, and man, they're pretty pissed at this. Their pride more than anything is hurt because they've already taken the knee and bent the knee to America plenty of times by accepting those strenuous deals. So for this to all happen, I'm very surprised. Um, I'm very surprised that something hasn't happened sooner. Like Iran, like you have to understand, Iran's very, very tempered. Okay, let me take a step back because Iran's not so tempered like, oh, they haven't done anything while all this aggression's been done against them, because realistically no aggression has been taken against them besides getting wanting them to sign a deal. you know the only aggression's in the boardroom, really. uh but aggression elsewhere through Iran's proxies, like I said, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, all these people. Iran, being the designated terror sponsor of the region, they've been, kind of attacking Israel, you can say, in a sense, and America, and really the world, and like, global shipping for a while now, for a while. So this wasn't something that was like just like far off, like this will never happen in a million years. This is something that was coming. We have you have political people escalating, for their own agendas. You have, things happening behind closed doors that we have no idea about. I'm not a specialist, or I'm not someone who's like super knowledgeable about all this sort of things, but I try my best to like stay a little up to date and just see what's going on in the world. And this was just something that just caught my eye, and I had to just jump on and start reading with you guys. So let's go back 50 minutes ago. Every drop of blood spilled on the ground will blossom into the flower of victory. Let them kill as many as they want. We will not back down. They've shown that they even target scientific warriors, so we too hold on to hope that one day we may be martyred. Martyred Fazkerazida. Faz Okay. I try my best. Okay. Um, man, more demonstrated. This will not be a mere demonstration of will or technological capability. This time, our response will be lethal. I bookmarked that one, like right before, like right when this was all popping off. So this was about 2 hours ago. It's 1:40 a.m. It's about 11:40. Like I said, around 11:30, 11:40, right before midnight. All this stuff started happening. So I'll unbookmark that. Um, but yeah, man, as you guys can see here, all this stuff is just absolutely crazy. We have one new update. Let's go check that out. Nuclear talks. Mediator Oman condemns Israeli strikes. Okay, that's good. That's fine. That's well and fine. Um, let's go back to okay, let's see these two more updates from Al Jazeera. Watchdog says no increase in radiation. Yeah, we just saw that. Israeli strikes We just saw that. Don't make me go back up. Um, Israeli strikes on Iran echo campaign against Hezbollah. Wave after wave of airstrikes, killing of top military and political officials and targeting of military assets. For those who watched the Israeli assault against Hezbollah last year, the strikes of Iran seem familiar. Hold on, before we even do this, I want to show you guys the main video I have for this. Yeah, it's here on my Twitter. I'll show you the main video I have for this. Oh, hey boys, I'm actually live streaming this on YouTube right now. So if you guys wanted to check in, you know, because I couldn't make a video. I couldn't sit here and make a video because there's live updates happening right now. So no camera. I'm just going for it. I'm sorry. I'm looking at, yeah, you feel me? Just had to get through it. Had to get through it. Yeah, man, jump on. Jump on. Where's hold on? How do I get to my see Twitter on? Yeah, there we go. So confusing. Look, this is the strike. This is the strike that started it. Six six significant strikes. Then we have the smoke piled up. Time. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Not literally. They think this is like war zone or something. This is not okay. Like Lebanon's Onoun says attack target stability in the Middle East. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun said in a statement that Israel's attacks on Iran did not only target the Iranian people, but also all international efforts exerted to maintain stability in the Middle East and neighboring countries and avoid escalation therein. He called for the international committee to take effective and swift action to prevent Israel from achieving its goals. Now, achieving its goals. But his only goal right here is just like to deflect against Iran, like the coming threat of Iran, the looming threat of Iran. That's why we preemptively strike. That's why we preemptively strike against them. What looming threat is he talking about? What threat is he talking about? I believe he's talking about the Greater Israel Project. That's all I'm going to say there. I'm not going to say anything else, right? So let's go over to Iran being designated a sponsor of terrorism. Like I said, it's back in 1984. Iran continued its support for terrorist related activity in 2021, including support for Hezbollah, Palestinian terrorist groups in Gaza, and various terrorist and militant groups in Iraq, Syria, Bahrain, and elsewhere throughout the Middle East. Iran used Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps Quds Force IRGCQF. I should have just read that instead. To provide support to terrorist organizations, provide cover for associated covert operations, and create instability in the region. Iran has acknowledged the involvement of the IRGCQF in the Iraq and Syria conflicts, and the IRGCQF is Iran's primary mechanism for cultivating and supporting terrorist activity abroad. In 2019, the Secretary of State designated the IRGC, including the IRGCQF. So they're different bodies. Like, okay, as a foreign terrorist organization, Iran also used regional militant and proxy groups to provide deniability in an attempt to shield it from accountability for its destabilizing policies. Okay, let me read that last part again. Iran also used regional, militant, and proxy groups to provide deniability. So basically, they're saying that Iran uses these groups, Hezbollah, IRGCQF, all the all these groups, they use them to do all the bad shit that they want to do in the world, all the evil that Iran wants to do, all the terrorism that they want to sow, and the fear in hearts of all Americans and good-hearted people everywhere. That Iran uses these groups to do so, and that's why they are deemed designated right here, designated as a sponsor of terrorism, a state sponsor of terrorism, and that's been ever since. That's been ever since. But of course, there's been efforts to kind of smooth over the Middle East, like us taking a 20-year campaign to have talks with them. Right? No, I'm sorry. That was like to fight a war because of like because 9/11. I mean, that's what they told us, right? But no, it's fine. Okay, we'll move on. AP has two new updates. Is that Israeli hospital in full emergency mode. Hadassah Hospital, one of Israel's largest hospital settings, is in full emergency mode. It's releasing patients whose conditions permit, canceling non-urgent operations, and moving some departments to protect the area. So yeah, they're thinking, yeah, Iran may be able to come over here and touch us. They may actually be able to come over and touch us, but this is like this is war, man. You guys just started a war. So anything like this, like evacuating people, bringing people out of like hospitals in bad situations, this should have been done already. This should have been done like like a couple days ago. Like when you were telling us like, hey, telling the US like, hey, we're ready, like we're strapped and ready to go. We're ramboed up. You know, we can do this. You should have did this already. But that's fine, guys. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second here, guys. I'm sorry for the dead air. I'm just yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So let's go. U.S. Embassy in Bahrain warns personnel to exercise increased caution. The U.S. Embassy in Manama, Bahrain advises personnel on Friday to exercise increased caution and limit non-essential travel around the country after Israel's early morning strikes on Iran. I actually knew a fellow who knew a fellow who served in Bahrain. So I kind of actually reached out and said if I could actually do an interview with them about their time in the military. So that could be coming to the channel. May or may not be, but we'll see. Let's go check on Al Jazeera. Stock sell off, oil surges in the wake of Israeli strikes. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, let's check that out. Oil prices have surged more than 9%, hitting their highest in almost 5 months after Israel struck Iran, dramatically escalating tensions in the Middle East and raising worries about disrupted oil supplies. Ooh. Brent crude futures jumped 6.29 or 9.07% to $75 a barrel after hitting an intraday high of $78, the highest since January. Brent crude futures. If you own stock in Brent crude futures, wake up. Wake up. You just made money. You may just gain some generational wealth. Depending on where you bought it, because where it is now at 6.29, that's not too big to buy at. You're gonna buy a couple of those, like a couple hundred of those, if you have the money. You know, if you're a big boy, you know, if you're, I'm a, stock bro. You know, I have a couple guys, friends that trade, and they do pretty good. So good for them. 75 a barrel. Looks like I should be joining my friends because if they're excuse me, if they're investing in crude oil, should give me the heads up. U.S. West Texas intermediate crude was up 6.43 or 9.4% at 74.47 a barrel after hitting a high of 77. Okay, so hold on. Okay, hold on. So this jumped $6 to $75. Okay, and this it was up $6 to 74. Okay, so that's a pretty good. Okay, so it's not like an insane jump, but you made some money. So you can go back to sleep. Well, you can celebrate if you want, smoke a cigar if you want, but you made some money. We have one more update, but we're gonna keep going down. The question is now whether this is a typical geopolitical knee-jerk reaction from the markets, which result in a lots of hype with no delivery, or is the U.S. really is on the brink of navigating a Middle East war? Matt Simpson, senior market analyst and City Index of Australia, told Reuters. Okay. Hmm. Excuse me. This heightened geopolitical risks are being strongly felt in the FX foreign exchange market, with rise in risk-off sentiment. The Japanese yen is likely to be bought. Okay. Okay. So to me, as a layman, right? If I'm taking this on the brink of navigating a Middle East war, or is the U.S. really on the brink of navigating U.S.? So is everyone scared? Like, because the whole talk about is that the U.S. when we was in Iran or Afghanistan and Iraq for all that time, we were just kind of siphoning resources like oil mainly from the country. So does that have the like is that playing a part of all this? Like the foreign exchange, are they going crazy because like yo the U.S. is about to fucking come up? Excuse me. for cursing again. But the U.S. is about to come up. Like what do we? Let's see. We have one more update. Let's go up. UK Starmer expressed concerns over strikes, calls for calm. Okay, that's not okay. Stalmer, we get it, Mr. Stalmer. Okay, let's catch up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's scroll. What? Trump to headline AI Energy Summit in Pittsburgh. See, we have to watch out for other stuff happening because while this is going on, promise you, promise you, big things will be happening behind this. I wouldn't be surprised if the World Economic Forum gets together and tells us all about the zombies that are gonna be dropping in the next year or so. The U.S. told Israel it won't participate in an Israeli strike on Iran. Oh, that's nice. That's nice of them. That's nice of them. Let's go over. Here we go. This is a nice one. This is Ted Cruz. Let's see. I really don't want to watch the video, but here we have some quotes here. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz warned Iran against trying to retaliate against American service members in the Middle East in the wake of Israel's military strike against Tehran. The Trump administration sought to distance itself from its allies' attack on Tehran, but retaliatory actions against the U.S. were top of the minds for some, including Senator Ted Cruz. The Texas Republican appeared on News Nation and asked people to pray for service members overseas who may now find themselves in harm's way. I want to speak directly to the Ayatollah who chants death to America and death to Israel, Cruz said Thursday night. Understand, if you attack American military bases, if you kill even one American serviceman or woman, President Trump will respond with overwhelming force. So do not do so. Wow. All right. Mind you, like we just saw, yo, America's trying to distance ourselves. We won't participate in any strike. We have nothing to do with the strike. I have another thing pulled up here, one of these things here that the US was telling its allies prior to the strikes, because mind you, they had knowledge that the strikes were going to happen. I'll pull this up in a few. Prior to the strike, said, "Hey, we have nothing to do with this. Okay, this is not us. This is Israel. They have every right to defend themselves, as you know, as they say all the time, as we all do. We all have the right to defend ourselves, but Israel says it all the time, which is true. They do have the right to defend themselves, right? But let's continue. Let's continue. Let's see where we were talking. We were talking Iran. Yeah. It's just so much. I'm sorry. There's just so much I have up here. Okay, that was just me looking at the proxies and how they use them. There's some news reports from 2023 about how the Houthis hijacked a commercial ship in the Red Sea. Um, yeah, for the past year or so during Joe Biden's presidency, you'll remember how there were always just these attacks. You're always hearing about attacks in the Red Sea. One of our ships were hit with this. One of our cargo ships was hit with that. Constant, constant, constant. And this is all coming from Iran. So this is all like drip fed attacks from Iran on the American populace. On the American populace. Oh, excuse me. Oh my God, it's almost 2 in the morning. Um, on just on good people in the world just trying to make a living, trying to bring oil and resources around the world for us all to use. White House trying to distance itself from Israel's attack. The fact that they're using the phrase not involved and unilateral, that all suggests that they're trying to put some level of distance between what the Israelis did and what the United States. But we know from Donald Trump, who's spoken to U.S. news stations in the last hour or so, that they were aware that the attack was coming. Donald Trump had talked about how he did not want to get involved in stupid wars in the Middle East, and that would all end soon as he became president. So he doesn't want to get dragged down in the conflict with Iran. No, but I want to know. I know he said something recently, like today, like Thursday, excuse me, like Thursday leading in. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, yeah. This is from April. This is updated April 2025. So we get rid of that. We went through that, right? Let's try to clean some of this up, right, guys? Um, there we go. No, full emergency mode. We saw this. This is the thumbnail here. This is Tehran. This is the capital. multiple sites and officials were struck in the capital. Like, if you remember that video we have here. So just look at these explosions, right? On the map. And thank you so much, AP, for letting me use all this, right? Then look at the bomb placements. Like, I don't like to me that's like, it's so insane how you can have that on a, like, we see it on a map. Okay, they did some cool little graphic for us, but then you see in real time a video that kind of like depicts it. It's like it's insane. Um no, but I really want to show you guys. Yeah, see, massive conflict could break out in the Middle East. This was on Thursday, so I showed you guys this already. This is June 12th. Look, it's June the 13th, so we can see that they knew this attack was coming. Like like, don't be like, whoa, America had no, America knew. We knew, we like, in Iran. Let me see. U.S. pulls embassy staff. Look, U.S. pulls
The U.S.
embassy
ordered
staff.
some staff to leave its embassy in Baghdad due to heightened security risks. It also authorized families of members of U.S. military personnel in the Middle East to depart. Statements announcing the decisions did not cite any specific threat. CBS is reporting that U.S. officials have been told Israel is ready to launch an operation in Iran. The U.S. ordered some staff to leave.
See, so yeah, same thing. U.S. withdraws embassy staff from the Middle East. So this attack was it was brought up. Look, World War III is trending. World War III is trending. World War III and Israel trending. People are just always making a joke. Before you chastise Israel for starting World War III, remember they are doing it so that they can get the like hostages back or something. Good on you. Good on you. World War III won't make me forget about the Epstein client list. Oh, wow. This guy's he's hitting the government low. He's going way low. That's not fair. The government is dealing with a lot right now, okay? And for you to bring up a guy who supposedly had large document, video, photo, any type of document that you can think of, documents on all of our celebrities, all of our celebrities and Congress people, or a great deal of them, in compromising positions with underage people, and then his mysterious death, miraculous death within the most confined holding facility, one of the most confined holding facilities in our country. And just a few days after, we're told that the footage was erased because some error on the CCTV. But then just a few days ago, you have Cash Patel and Dan Bonjoni uh, going around telling us that they've seen the video and that the man unequivocally killed himself. So don't bring that up. The government has a lot going on right now. It doesn't have time for you to go bringing up, go opening up old wounds. All right, it doesn't need that. Tweeting about the Chargers during World War III. This guy's got the right idea. Just look ahead. All right, look ahead. Things will be better. Right. The Coliseum still stands. Friendly reminder that old Joe Biden didn't cause World War III. He prevented World War III. I mean, he held the gates back. I guess you could say it wants me to follow Iran, like, because I've been on their page a few times in the past few hours, but I'm not gonna follow them. I already know that's not gonna look good. Damn, this is like the 20th year. Yeah, Israel is the size of New Jersey. Iran is more than twice the size of Texas. David still fights Goliath. Well, when David here has his own Goliath thousands of miles away, then you can understand why David would pull back up to Goliath, even though his slingshot may be out of order. Yeah, David has his own Goliath. Anybody not wearing a 2 million sunblock is gonna have a real bad day. Get it? I think that's from Terminator. That looks like Terminator. That looks like Sarah Connor from Terminator. On the screen here, that may not. This may be Terminator 2 out here, but in here that may be Terminator, or this both may be Terminator 2. Don't know, but we're getting off track. Israel is currently striking Iran's capital, Tehran. Yeah, these are some extra videos of smoke. I'll just let these play for a little bit just so you can see.
امید نیاوران
Yeah, we don't need any we don't need any voiceover. But thank you though. I whatever you're saying, I'm pretty sure you're probably saying something like, "Holy shit, this is crazy," but it's like 2:01 in the morning. I can't deal with that. All right. Okay, so oh wait, hold on. All this World War III people are too World War II branded. You need to get into World War I brain. World War III isn't starting in some invasion of Poland, Pearl Harbor, or Grand Strike. It'll start because an activist influencer live streams a prank that accidentally kills a rich guy because he never heard of. That's like the Archduke Ferdinand, like our version of the Archduke Ferdinand, the precursor to like World War II. Okay, that's cute. That's cute. But we're getting off track here, right? Um, yeah. So what do we want to look into here? Like, oh yeah, yeah. So I use ChatGPT. Okay, I use ChatGPT because it's a pretty useful tool. Okay, it helps me. Like I'm a layman. All right, I look things up. I hear about things. I look them up. ChatGPT. I ask it a question, and guess what? It'll bring things up for me to look into. Then I have, oh my god, now I have way more questions to start asking. I start doing some googling. I start doing some looking up. Now I have some sort of comprehensive from understanding what's going on. So great tool to use here. Um, let's see. Yeah, this is Trump's withdrawal from Barack Obama's 2015 deal, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, labeling it a horrible one-sided deal. You guys don't remember this. And afterwards, he executed a maximum pressure campaign targeting Iran's economy, including oil, banking, shipping sectors, to compel Tehran into negotiations. You know, this is latest updated June 9th, but of course, this has been going on since he took back the office earlier this year. And as you can see, this will definitely force a country to take matters into their own hands and kind of like you know start acting the way they think is best for them. They've been bending the knee for some time now, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't bend the knee. I'm not saying that they should bend the knee. I'm just saying that they have been bending the knee for some time, and that can only go on for so long. Like a people's only going to take it for so long, and they're very proud people, as I imagine. So, I'm surprised that all this was like Joe Biden actually was able to keep the door closed on all this. I don't know what he was doing over there. I know the Biden family isn't they're not squeaky clean either. He gave his son pardons dating back a long time, as well as his brother. The Biden family, you can kind of just say they all got pardons dating way back. So I know that he's not squeaky clean. He's not on the up and ups. I'm sorry. Let me just good. I just want to double check OBS, make sure we're still good. Um, but yeah. So look, let's go down here. Oh, went too far down here. Let's go back up. Um, maximum campaign pressure campaign in February and positioned Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff to lead indirect negotiations via Oman. I remember this. And it's funny because listening to the Jimmy Dore podcast, they're talking about this and how Oman afterwards came out and said, like, hey, you can make a deal with America, and they'll say one thing, and then they'll get back to you and say, oh, well, actually, no, we actually can't go that way. We have to go another direction. It's like, so what do we even like? You can be promised something, like we can actually be promised something, and then it'll just not be on the table anymore. And this is Oman. Um, I've heard the name before. I'm not super knowledgeable about who he is, but I'm pretty sure that he's probably like, a main envoy to, let's say, Iran's president. Let's just look up who's this is, or even if they have a president. Wait, what do they call the guy? Iran's new president is Masoud Pezeshkian. Let's see who the guy is. Okay, this is the guy. He's the guy who's gonna. And this guy, I know this guy. He's always talking a lot. Oh, this guy not. I guess not anymore. That's 2021. But I know his face. I know his face. And whenever something's going on, he always comes out and talks. Maybe okay. Look, see here he is again. What year is this? What's to learn from the new Iranian president? Yeah, that's probably old. Let's just check that out. 2021. Yeah, so he's Iranian president 2021. He's new Iran's new president. How a new president? I was gonna say hot new president. And that's funny because Donald Trump he called the president of Syria like a young attractive guy. Trump calls Syria prez attractive. I'm sorry, I don't know why I read
How
that
did
out.
you find the Syrian president?
Great, great. I think very good. Young, attractive guy, tough guy. You know, strong pass, very strong pass fighter.
Does that worry you
But
at
he's
all?
got
Okay, so you see how he says very strong past fighter, right? Like that. Okay, let's look up Syrian president, right? Let's look up who he is. Ahmed Al Shahara. Now he doesn't go by this anymore. I'm understanding that he changed his name. He doesn't wear this get up anymore. He now dresses up in a nice suit. Let's go check it out. He just believes Shahira Shahara at risk of assassination. Trump envoy says, "Okay, look, come on. This is June 10th, bro. This is just a couple days ago. Then you have Israel striking Iran. No, bro. This nah, man. This I'm sorry. Let's just read. We need to coordinate protective system around Shahara, Ambassador Tom Hart. Okay, so yeah, man. Posed by splinter factions of the foreign fighters who joined Shahara in the lightning campaign that toppled former President Bashar al-Assad in early December. So so the same fighters, the same rebels that helped him beat the last bad guy or the last excuse me, I'm so sorry. That's program right there. The last president. They done splintered off into their own factions and they're trying to take down this guy. See, it's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. You can never use like hired help like that to help you take down a bad guy because they're gonna end up taking you down. It's just like getting with a girl who cheated on her boyfriend for you. You understand that she will in turn cheat on you with the next guy. Like this is just how it goes. Like I don't make the rules. I just report them. All right, and I've been reporting for quite some time now. This is my first stream like this and ever. It was really fun actually. It's actually really fun, and I like doing this. And I used to watch some podcasts where they kind of did stuff like this. Um, I still do listen to podcasts like news based podcasts. That's where I get most of my information to go start looking into to start like coming to ChatGPT. I guess not start coming to ChatGPT, but I'll listen to a podcast, get some information, do googling. If I don't have like a clear understanding of it, I'll use ChatGPT to lead me in the right direction to get the answers that I'm looking for, and I'll go from there. But this is really fun, and um I hope to keep you guys updated after maybe a day or two because I know there's going to be a lot of things that come out. Tomorrow's going to be the first full day of it, so maybe the following day I'll start making a video, and then the day after it'll drop. um but yeah, this will be up on the channel. Sorry, no more ums. This will be up on the channel. More videos will be coming soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did, if you didn't, tune in at the height of it. Just know that it's been pretty crazy all night. Like I was actually like getting like impeach Trump now is oh, come on, how can I turn the stream off? Impeach Trump now. Today we have crossed a deep red line. We the people must hold the president for and his appointees accountable for this outrageous abuse against American liberty. I guess. Hold on, that is that Pete Buttigieg? This is the ex-presidential hopeful. He was going to be the first gay president. And he's married. He's married to another fellow, which would have been, so great for it would have been so great for like progression, right? Yeah. Okay. Trump is the worst president since Trump. Wow. Dear America, you are waking up as Germany once did to the awareness that 130 people will kill another 1/3 while the 1/3 watches. Warner Herzog. Okay. Okay, fair. Okay. Right. US added to global human rights watch list over declining civil liberties. March 2025. Didn't see that. Impeach Trump now. Okay. Never saw that. Look at this. All this is happening. And Aiden Ross is okay. Okay, good. I was about to say Aiden Ross is he's trending over Israel, enemy of humanity. Jesus, I'm sorry. This is just this. These are not my own thoughts. This is just what's on Twitter currently, and I just kind of want to show this. Israel has plagued the world. No, we're not going to show that. I'm not going to show that. That's just like totally anti-Semitic. Like that's I'm for fair criticism of Israel. I don't like when Israel kind of denounces fair criticism, but that was just gonna go straight anti-Semitic, and I don't believe in that. That's not how you have an open conversation um about things. So yeah, you can see that Twitter is not happy right now. I can imagine that Rumble and Kick are live right now. You have like political pundits like Nick Fuentes is probably going crazy ballistic right now. If not now, then later today, and I only know these people because I try to be in the space of just like Sam Cedar and Jimmy Dore and Tim Pool, and I don't follow Tim Pool. Okay, transparency transparency's sake, I used to like really follow Tim Pool closely. I believe that Tim Pool is a very smart person. I believe he actually is like immensely smart and well read. Um, I also follow people like Gifted Hater, who's a skateboarder, totally different like totally different area on YouTube, like different shop on YouTube, but he basically made a takedown video of Tim Pool, which was I thought was entertaining because I enjoy both their content. But Tim Pool, I used to watch his content. I used to consume his content a lot. I feel like he has very good takes on a lot of things. But then a lot of things started to come out really, and I started to notice things, certain things that he would say, and certain ways he would lean, and things like that, things of that nature. And that always rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not a fan of that stuff, so I kind of got out of there. And since I kind of picked up Jimmy Dore, and he's like kind of gives it to you straight. He kind of like just like he brass tacks it for you, and he has a good guy, Kurt, on the show with him. Kurt's funny too. I feel like Kurt really shines when Jimmy's not there, but that's always like that for like the guy who's backing up the main guy. When and even when Jimmy's not there, there's another guy who kind of takes Jimmy's spot, but I feel like Kurt does a better job when Jimmy's not there. Jimmy kind of has them curtail their own personalities for him. He has to shine. He's a star. Hamas slams Israeli attacks on Iran. This will probably be the final thing I read before I get off. The Palestinian group is calling on the world to take a unified stance to deter Israel and put an end to its crimes. Wow. This I don't want to say this is good for Hamas, but this is good for Hamas. This is good for people in the Gaza Strip in general because people are not gonna be happy about this. America will not be happy about this. No one wants to go to war. No one wants to go to war. Not after Donald Trump promised us no more war. No war, no war, no war. No more new wars. I'm going to end all the old wars. Plus, I'm going to bring America back to its feet. We've been on our knees. Bring us back to our feet. Okay, let's keep reading. Israel's aggression constitutes a dangerous escalation that threatens to destabilize the region and reflects the extremist Netanyahu's government insistence on dragging the region into open confrontations. A statement on Telegram said. On Telegram? Whose statement on Telegram? Anyone can use Telegram. Okay. Al Jazeera, okay? The group called the attack a message on. Okay, so this is Hamas. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is a Hamas statement on Telegram. So is it the Hamas government? Is it a terrorist guy who works for Hamas? The group called the attack a brutal aggression that constitutes a flagrant violation of international norms and conventions. Come on, Hamas. It's I get it. Hamas is the government of of the people of the Palestinians. They're the duly elected government there back in 2005. Like a lot of people don't even know that. That's a whole history lesson for the other day. But they're saying like, hey man, this is brutal aggression. October 7th, man. And this is me, proving I'm not an anti-Semite because October 7th was pretty messed. It's insanely messed up. Okay, it was insanely messed up. I know there's a lot of nuances to that subject. I understand that, there are a lot of nuances to the subject. It was messed up on both sides. Let me say that it was messed up on both sides, and the constant brutalization that the Palestinians have suffered at the hands of Israel has absolutely been abhorrent and egregious. But for that October 7th, that's also like they want to deny they want to deny that babies are being hurt and young and women are not being accosted, but they absolutely were. And the same can be said for Israel doing this to Palestinians. There are definitely reports of the inverse. So, like I said, it's a very nuanced subject, so I won't get too much into it here. Hamas expressed full solidarity with the Islamic State of Iran and offered its deepest condolences. Of course, Hamas, you're gonna if your boss's like major building just gets blown up, right? We're gonna be like, oh boss, no, boss, no, I'm sorry, that's not good, boss. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little silly here. It's 2:15 in the morning. Central Tehran, among targets hit by Israeli. A resident from Central Tehran is told Al Jazeera that one of the Israeli strikes hit the densely packed Shahara district in the Iranian capital. Shahara is located near the center of the city, just a few minutes away from the hospital, just a few blocks from the museum. There are no immediate reports on casualties from the strike. Meanwhile, we are getting reports of casualties from a separate Israeli strike that hit the Narmak district of Tehran. We're bringing the details as soon as possible. So, yeah, this is where I sign off. We're gonna have details coming in all throughout the morning. It was very fun to stream. Thank you so much for joining in. It's very sad that we have to stream under these conditions, under for these pretenses. Like, I only come on stream because I do feel strongly about the Middle East. Mainly, I feel strongly about. I want you have to temper yourself and say things properly. There are people in the world who do things, and there are repercussions for those things that other people have to pay the price for, and that should stop. We should stop hurting people needlessly for our greater reasons, just for wanting our own space or whatever. We should stop trying to overcharge people, overtax people, and stop trying to destroy and undermine people's governments. That goes for everyone. This is for everyone across the board. And this is all, everything is pretty nuanced, and nothing is black and white. It's everything is gray, really. You can always look at things through the gray tint in my perspective, but we'll get more into it another day. Thank you so much for joining us today.